Welcome to the Hearthstone Complaint Department podcast. Hope you are not sodium intolerant. Here are your hosts, Jay and Nick. Take it away, boys.
Welcome to the Hearthstone Complaint Department podcast, where we do a deep dive on the saltiest takes about Hearthstone, past, present, and future. Remember, this is not an I Hate Hearthstone podcast. It's about two people talking about the game that they love. We're going to talk about the things that drive people nuts, about the game, about a match, about a specific card, unpack them, and see how we can turn those smiles or frowns upside down. My co-host is Flair, and I am Jay from This Week in Hearthstone. And Nick, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Oh, God.
Are we gonna talk about some stuff today? I think we are.
Oh, anomalies. Oh, man.
Yes. So this is perfect. This is episode 4, and this topic is very, very heated. The title of this episode is Anomalies Return. Good for the game or punch me in the face repeatedly. And there's going to be some different takes going on. We have mailbag we're going to talk about. There's a lot of stuff. How has Hearthstone been treating you this week, Nick?
I uninstalled Hearthstone yesterday.
What?
I'm not playing it. I'm not playing it until the expansion drops. I can't do it. I can't do it. And so let me rephrase. It's not that I wouldn't play it. It's that if I had it on my computer still, I would open it and then get really angry every single day. That's more what it would be.
So by uninstalling it, you're protecting your future self from having a breakdown.
I'm protecting myself. I downloaded Magic, and it's a game, all right.
Okay. I think I said in the post, you're contractually obligated. There is no contract, but you're contractually obligated to make sure that Hearthstone is reinstalled in the next 15 days, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make sure it's installed. Actually, I have to install it by like the 20th, I think, for my thing.
My thoughts are you're going to install it by Friday. I'll bet you'll have it reinstalled by Friday before you know it.
If anomalies are gone, by it.
I've not been playing very much this week, not because I'm mad at anomalies. I've just been super, super busy right now. I did get some games of Battlegrounds in. I did try some of the new heroes on Twist because they released, I think, 8 or 9 new heroes. I'm having fun, and hopefully I'm trying to get back into the Team Hearth League for the next set that comes out. I think it probably starts in like 3-4 weeks. So I'm going to start playing with a gusto starting tomorrow, which is Monday.
Yeah. I've never really been in a THL. I mean, it's cool, right? You know, it's the only consistent like competitive league for just everyone else. So I have nothing against it. I don't know. I'm not really. I don't play in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you'd be good at it. There's a wild league there. You get some matches, like it's hilarious. I think I fought Pocket Train 3 times now, and I've only been in 2 seasons. I think it was 2 seasons. And like the one, it's like, oh yeah, he can't play today. We need to sub. Well, why can't he play today? Oh, he's in the Masters Tour right now that's going on that weekend. So like we had to have a substitute. It's like, I guess we can do it. But listen, it's way above my pay grade. I'm not, I'm not an amazing player whatsoever, but it's just funny. Like if you want to play competitively, if you want to try out with all of these other players from all walks of life or what have you, it's absolutely fun, and there's no stakes. Like you're not running through, and you're not having a situation to where if you don't make it, you're out. Just play it next season. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I wish, how do I put this? I wish that there was more of a community around like this kind of grassroots tournament stuff. Like THL is liked, and there is a community, but it feels like how do I put this? You know how actually a perfect example would be League of Legends, because just recently they expanded, like maybe the last 2 years, or 2 or 3 years, they've started putting in like tier 3 leagues and tier 4 leagues. It used to be you had pro play, and then you had like tier 2, which was sometimes collegiate, sometimes sometimes some other stuff, things like that. But now they finally expanded it into like tier 3, tier 4. And I feel like I wish Hearthstone would do that, make it so like, say this like THL or something. If you win THL, maybe you can get some like, I don't know, something, right? Like, because it's not like THL doesn't have good players in it. You know, like you were saying, Pocket Train's literally playing in it. So it's not like it's actually worthless. It just, I wish that we had the old like tournament system that we used to have. Do you remember like the way back in the day?
Yeah, no, I remember.
Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah, I wish that was around, because that would be a lot more interesting to play in as someone, if someone who wants to play competitively. Because like currently, I mean, like, yeah, I'm not playing in THL, but like playing ladder is pointless. Like, it's actually pointless to play ladder.
No, I get it. I like playing ladder though. I couldn't go to wild. I couldn't go to wild. I don't think I mean, listen, there's a lot of people right now that are playing Twist because of the topic of this episode, or because of other situations, or if this is a throwing up hand quotes here, but stale meta. There is still a need for some sort of system. We would have loved to have seen tournament mode. I think tournament mode would have changed things exponentially.
Yep.
I'm sure, listen, I don't know. I'm not in the building. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm just a moron who likes Hearthstone, but I'm sure that had something to do with, hey, we can't get the client to work it. It's got to be.
Yeah, it has to be that. I mean, the Hearthstone client actually used to be even worse than it is now. It's a lot better now after like multiple updates to it, but it used to like freeze constantly. It used to crash constantly for just no reason at all. Like a few years ago. It's significantly better now, but oof.
Guys, I promise all of our listeners, this is not an I Hate Hearthstone podcast, but we're going to have a topic. We're going to talk about a topic, and I think there's going to be some conversations about that topic. And it's Anomalies Return. Good for the game, or punch me in the face repeatedly. And listen, we both have a difference of opinions here. I believe we have a difference of opinion. One of the fresh things that we do is we're not talking about everything that we talk about immediately before we talk. We're gonna have some raw, uninterrupted, right then and there, back and forth on this. But to break it down, in case you haven't played this week, Anomalies, they're back. And they were first introduced in patch 27.4 in September of 2023. And my understanding, if I remember it correctly, they were hated back then. And they also introduced the Cho'Gall Twilight Chieftain, and this was the 6/7 taunt with lifesteal at the start of the game, 50% chance to corrupt the game with a random anomaly, and no one wanted this either. And right now, this week, it's not going to be the entire week. I think we have 2 or 3 more days, depending on when you're listening to this. This is in 100% of all games in both Standard and Wild. And this is not going away. We're going to see this in some way, shape, or form until the new expansion launches on the 23rd. Flair, why did you delete Hearthstone?
Okay. So picture this, okay? You're playing Wild Hearthstone. The best deck in the game, which has been the best deck in the game for a long time, is Miracle Rogue, right? Miracle Rogue, their opening hand is like, I don't even know, like, dig for treasure, gear shift, preparation, and then, I don't know, some other spell. And they're going second, right? So they have 4 cards in their hand, and the coin. Then their hand actually costs 0 mana entirely. 0 mana at all, because they hit fast track. Go to the slide. Yeah, fast track. Not fast track. Boo, fast track. Okay, so you're playing against literally any Miracle deck ever made, and they just get a Thaurissan to their opening hand. Okay. Okay. Sure. I lose on turn 1. Anomalies make you lose on turn 1 in a lot of matchups, to a lot of decks, especially if you're going first. Going first is significantly worse with most of the anomalies. It's
okay. Now, Mike, so we're going to unpack this. I don't hate anomalies. Okay. I don't hate anomalies. I do not play the game to, get up to legend every month. I do not play the game as a competitive thing. I play the game to have fun or what have you. I have not been in a situation, and I could be one of the only ones. I could be like the chosen few that doesn't sit there and say, okay, I'm not going to win this. I hate what I'm doing. Blah, blah, blah. It's time for me to go. On some of these are absolutely broken. And my thought process during this conversation is Some of these are absolutely broken. I know I'm going to lose. But based on the matchups, I'm going to lose anyway. I know that most likely on some of these situations, anomalies or not anomalies, that I'm not going to win the game if the class that I'm fighting, it just has a better powered deck or what have you. Fast Track reduced the cost of all cards in both players' starting hands by 1. Absolutely, for the situation that you mentioned, that's a 0. The problem, I think, that's the frustrating thing is there's going to be a short period of time when everybody realizes that, and then everybody does it. And then it's very easy for you to just sit there and say, hey, listen, these 3 or 4 decks are a problem because anomalies are there. And then that's all you see for the next week ad nauseum. And I think that's one of the problems why people do not like it. Which one of these? Okay, so bear with me. There's a part 1 and a part 2 because there's so many of them. I couldn't put them all onto one slide. Out of all the ones that you're seeing here, are there any that if you had to play a percentage of time, would you be okay with?
Probably the extra mana crystal one. That one's fine. Like it's strong. It's good. It's better for slow decks than it is for aggro decks for sure. But like, if you were consistently always having 2 mana on turn 1, you would just work your deck around that, right? For aggro decks especially. Right. Okay. So I want to talk about this before we get to the next slide because of. So when Anomalies first came out, you have to remember that that's when Yogg came out, right? The Yogg-Saron Unsealed, when it was 9, when it was 15 mana and it would cost less per spell, right?
Yes.
So Driven to Greed, if you're playing against Questline Druid or Miracle Rogue in Wild, or actually if you're playing against any of like Druid in Standard as well, if they got Driven to Greed, you just like actually could not win the game. Driven to Greed because it's just a free spell and mana to discount your Yogg, and then you just keep bouncing your Yoggs over and over again. It was unplayable unless you were also playing that exact deck.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm seeing here is, and we're going to unpack some of it. We're going to talk about this. We do have comments. We've seen some takes online about this because I'm not the only one that's saying this, and neither is Nick. Nick is saying exactly that. The one thing I wanted to mention, because I'm trying not to hate on him. Again, I don't hate anomalies. I think that the main point of the fact is, if you know that it is easy to fight such and such with such and such, you're going to play that deck. One of the situations is we've seen it for the past couple of days now. We've seen Druid explode. There are people on social media that are like, okay, I'm done. I played 5 games today and 4 of them were Druid. A lot of these on at least this first part 1 stop is all of these work well with Druid.
Yeah,
uncontrollable growth. Both players start with an extra mana crystal. There's actual cards in the Druid side that allow you to get extra mana crystals. It's very good for Druid. Reduce the cost of all cards in both players' hands. First minion played on each turn costs 1 less. There's not one in here that's a bad situation. And my thought process is, did Druid get better this week because of anomalies?
Oh, most definitely. I think every single anomaly is good for Druid, like every single one. The only one that I think isn't like the best is what's it called? It's the hero power one. The hero power one is the only one that Druid doesn't love more than every other class.
Right. Let's go to that one.
I guess the gold one, but
I mean, the gold one's not that big of a deal, but like the one the one that you were saying here, heroes powers cost 1 less. Why would that not be excellent for the combo Druid or the hero power Druid to be 1 less across the board?
Actually, yeah, if you talk about hero power Druid, yeah, they like it. But combo Druid doesn't really care, is more what I was saying. Like, it's not like you're playing an even deck and then you also hit that one and then you have a 0 cost hero power. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, Druid's hero power is fine. It's not the best. It's not the worst. It's just an okay one. So they don't benefit the most from it, basically.
Your eyes betray you. So one of the thought processes I had was, okay, and then we're going to get to some of the comments, because some of the comments are pretty salty. I wish there was some call-ins specifically from this group of people that left comments, but Your eyes betray you. Both player cards are golden. There's nothing wrong with this anomaly right here. Is there a way to make this to where there was not all this hatred? So as an example, is there a couple of these that would make you not want to uninstall Hearthstone temporarily if they took them out? Or is it just the sum of all of them? Please unpack that for me.
I think that if they had made anomalies that weren't like specifically gameplay focused, but like say all your minions have mustaches, all your cards are golden, your spells have like have different like sound effects. Your hero, you are a different hero or something, like a skin you don't own or something for your class, things like that. That could have been fun, goofy, and it would have been completely fine. But the issue that I have with a lot of them is that they just are all they're completely gameplay focused. Even the ones that aren't like really good are fine, I guess. Like specifically just Light in the Dark and Your Eyes Betray You. There's another one where it's like you draw. I think it's on this page. Ends or the first card draw on each player's turn. That one's fine. There's nothing special about it. If anything, that one is that one is equally beneficial to both players. Shifting Fate, both players start with Gear Shift is fine, I guess. Do we have it on here? Wait.
Which one? There's Light in the Dark, Gift of Gluttony.
Was on the first one? Oh, wait. There's the one where at both you start with you draw 2 extra cards at like the start of the game or something. Oh, was that not?
Did I not grab all of these?
I think you missed that one. Oh
no.
It's okay. That one's fine. That one's fine as well. It's the start of the game, draw 2 extra cards. That one's fine, honestly. They're not specifically like giving you more mana. They're not, making you draw even more cards because of unspent mana. They're not giving you coins. They're not reducing your hand. They're not, oh my God. So at least the one singular upside to anomalies this time around is that you don't have the hero power one that would replace your hero power or upgrade your hero power. That one, or those two, oh my God. If you were playing if you're playing like Shadow Priest, even decks, odd decks, and you got that one, you had to concede on turn 1 because you actually just could not play the game because your entire deck is built around your hero power and then you don't have it anymore.
Yeah, no, I agree. That one
they even removed that one like 2 weeks in, I think. Like when it was at 50%, they removed that one because because everyone hated it. Everyone hated their hero power being replaced because just unreal. It just ruined so many decks.
Did they say that this was going to be like this coming week was going to be 50% of all games, then next week was 25?
I know. All I know for sure is that this week is 100%. I don't know if they said anything else. I don't even know when it ends. I don't know if it ends this week or if it ends at the expansion. Hopefully it ends this week.
No, so don't be upset about that. From my understanding, from what I saw on social media, it said this, we will be playing anomalies until the expansion begins, and this week is 100%. Yeah. Okay, so let's do this. Wait, I want to read some of these, and then we'll go back to unpacking more because I have more questions. Okay.
Yeah. No problem.
So, somebody, and this is from Hearthstone, who asked for this? LOL. I was under the impression that the general consensus was that no one liked anomalies and everyone constantly complained about them. Me personally, I didn't think they were that big of a deal, but I never found them fun in a single time, and they did annoy me. Terrible mechanic. If you want to have a wacky random thing happen, you should have done daily ones so you could at least build a deck around it.
Yeah.
Let's unpack that because I like that idea to where hey,
that's a much better idea.
This one, if they were able to, and bear with me again, I don't know anything talks about Hearthstone. If they were able to take a twist season and make a new expansion per day be part of that twist set, why couldn't they sit there and say, hey, the next 24 or 48 hours is this one. The next 24 or 48 hours is that one. That type of situation. Yeah. I like that idea.
So Marvel Snap has something similar to that, where they have a location that spawns 50% of the time or something. I don't remember the specific numbers. And people have issues with that when they're ones they don't like, right? They're like, I remember when Marvel Snap first came out, like the first week it was I forget what it's called. It's not battle cries. It's just like your on play effects trigger twice. So the best deck in the game was like that Odin deck where you would just play as many battle cries as you could and stuff like that. And people got tired of that more than they were just like, oh, they hated it. It was just, a full week of that, like 2 weeks into the game coming out, right? I think that for Hearthstone, right, if you were to have like the good ones, right, the ones people like your hero power costs one less, your cards are all golden, you draw 2 additional cards, maybe even start with 1 extra mana crystal, stuff like that for a full 24 hours, maybe even some of the other ones that didn't come back but would have been more fair in that sense, it would be a lot more interesting than just like, oh, I'm playing Druid, and as long as I, actually not as long as I not even don't get lucky, as long as I just play the game, I'm always going to get lucky because it just always benefits me more than my opponent.
Right.
Because if you're playing like, I don't even know, say you're trying to play Reno Warrior or something, fast track doesn't really matter for you. The gear shift one doesn't matter that much for you. You're not trying to cycle through your deck that much, so you don't really use them as well. But if you knew that those were the ones you're always going to get, you could just build your deck around it.
Yeah. No, I agree with that one.
Yeah. So I like that idea too. If they had done it, daily rather than just every other game being different.
Yeah. Another one here, 100%. That's great if you like anomalies, I guess. Sadly, I think they're rubbish. Shakes head. I'm starting to think that Blizzard is making decisions purely to annoy me this year. Prediction: next expansion will be 100% Jade Druid.
Yeah, we'll get Jade Druid back in Perils in Paradise.
Yeah, that would be very. And I thought there was going to be something when we were dealing with Whizbang. I thought there was going to be a little bit something more on the whole Jade Druid thing.
Yeah, they have what's it called? It's Jade. That Minion.
I don't remember the card name, but there was just a little tiny bit, just a little tiny reference. Another one, and please, these are not, these, I might be taking some of these out of context. I don't want to give anybody, credit or non-credit based on this because I don't want to take people out of context. I'm just reading stuff from Hearthstone.com. Make sure you go there. And this one is, actually, I don't hate this. It's how I imagine that Twist Tavern Brawl should have been. It adds a little variability without being that disruptive or unfair. I like that idea of saying, hey, this is maybe how Twist should be. The game is standard. The game is wild. The game is any card can do. And then this is the Twist format. And the thing that everybody talks about, and it's been all over the place, just to throw back on Twist for a second, is Twist is in a fun place this set. Past 2 months, Twist has been great. I love it. But there's been months it was like, no, Twist is not fun, or there's been months that Twist has disappeared.
No twist.
Exactly. There is no Twist. And, I want to be able to spend money on the game. I spend money on the game. I spend a lot of money on the game. The idea would be, I'm not spending any money on any deck for Twist if there's a month where I can't play it.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to do it. There's just no way of me doing that. So something like this where they can keep it always on. I don't care, and I think I've mentioned this before. I don't care if Twist is, hey, we're going to have this set, and then we're going to go ahead and take a pause. But there's going to be 3 anomalies in Standard and Wild, part of Twist, that type of situation. Sign me up on that. I'd buy cards for those any day of the week.
Yeah. I think, Twist is such a missed opportunity, in my opinion. It is such a perfect chance for Blizzard to have another constructed format where all it is say, the newest expansion, then like 5 wild expansions, or maybe like one of the other standard expansions at any given point.
Right.
It would provide so much different gameplay than both standard and wild that I'm genuinely just baffled why they don't do that constantly for Twist. Because say it still could be monthly as well. You always keep the newest expansion, then you just rotate out 15 different expansions for those 3 months or 4 months, however long expansions are in the game, right? And
right.
it would let you be able to do support for the new expansion, right? Say the new expansion is all about hero powers every class. You could put Rostakon's Rumble and what's it called? The Grand Tournament, and say Forge in the Barrens, right? If you want Mage to be really good because they can have Wildfire, right? Or say you have you're trying to bring back like the Loas for some reason, right? So you put Roscon's Rumble in there. I guess I used that twice as like the callback, right? It feels like Twist was teased as a wild update, and then it wasn't, but it still could have been if they just did this stuff. They could have still tried to balance it. They could have still been buffing, weaker cards, nerfing cards for Twist, stuff like that. And I don't know, it's just really rough. I'm not upset with the current Twist, the hero Twist. I like that. That's fine. But when you had Caverns of Time specifically, oh my gosh, the Ungoro Twist, it just felt like a big miss on what they could have been doing with it,
Yeah, I mean, I listen. I love the idea that they're trying new things, they're testing things out. Hopefully, they'll be able to see which ones are getting the most played or the least played. They'll make decisions that way. And I've always said that you'll miss 100% of the shots that you never take. So I like the idea that they're trying with this, but to get into the situation of, hey, Twist is good right now, but Anomalies are a bad miss. Maybe they did this just to get more people trying out Twist because they didn't
it's definitely possible. It is very possible. Did we get new heroes last month before the month change at all? Do you remember? They added extra heroes during June?
I do not know. Wait a minute. So I know that they made changes of the hero's health.
Yeah.
I think they put a couple of in the middle of it. I think you're right.
The reason I'm asking is if that's the case, they'll probably put more in when the expansion drops, based on these new expansion cards. So
I'm hoping it comes back.
I feel like Hero Twist can be very interesting if they made it constructed, for one, because people really do want it to be constructed. You have the hero power similar to duels, right? But instead of it being drafting and all that, I know people really want that. It's something that people ask for all the time. I think if they did that and they kept the hero powers, maybe they could just limit say you're playing Guff, right? Maybe Guff can have Warrior, Druid, and Demon Hunter cards, of certain expansions, something like that. Yeah, that's probably a lot of work. It probably is really hard to balance, but that gets people more interested than just okay, well, I crafted this legendary that I'm never going to use, and I can only play this deck for 2 months, versus, okay, what if we just kept it like this permanently, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I would be completely fine with that. I would play that all the time.
I'm hoping we don't take it away forever. I'm hoping it comes back. This is what I didn't. Okay, so bear with me. The current Twist format was a little bit of a spin on duels. Okay.
Yes.
Duels, to me, there was too much back and forth of it. The little cards that you could grab to add to your deck, you would bring the deck together. Those types of situations, that part turned me off because it was too many steps to it. But for me to go on right now and to be able to say, hey, I want to play Warrior right now. There's 3 Warriors I can. Here's the decks. Here's the idea. And here's what you're going to face. Literally take these out, rebrand this as Duels Part 2, and I am sold. In this in Twist right now, I said to you, I'm not buying Twist formats that are going to go away for 2 months. But you know what? I definitely crafted specific cards that I did not have to play Twist in this mode that it is right now.
Yeah, I had to craft the Forge in the Barrens Guff to be able to play Twist, dude. That card is that's not a playable card. The what?
Is that's not the one with 20 mana, right?
No, that's the Minion. The Guff Rune Totem, the 3 mana 2/4. Whenever you cast a nature spell, give a random friendly minion +2/+2. That card's bad. It saw play a tiny bit of play in Taunt Druid and Standard and back in Barrens and United and Stormwind, and then instantly fell off because it wasn't actually that good of a card. It just got kicked from the deck.
Right. All right, we're gonna read one more, and then we're gonna move forward. Good thing Twist is still online. Don't like Anomalies very much because if I play, I want to play my deck as it is. No extras needed or wanted. Last time there was a useless anomaly or it destroyed my game plan because opponent had better advantage of it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're not playing a deck that can just abuse all of the anomalies better than your opponent, you're just not trying right now. You know,
Exactly.
You're not trying to win.
Exactly.
That's why Druid is like the only deck in Standard.
Yeah, I mean there's 4 that the good news is there's 4 that you can play from. The bad news is it's all Druid. You know,
Yeah.
if you don't want to fight as or face a Druid right now, you're limited. Listen, and we're going to go back and forth all over the place, meaning that I feel that for someone that is not spending a lot of money on this game, this is the best time to play. I've seen some people, and I think we're going to talk about this a little bit when we get to the mailbag. I was able to look at all of the tier 1 decks right now are below 6,000 dust. Go a year back and tell me if you can find any tier 1 deck that was below 15,000 dust. It's not possible. It's very easy for someone to be able to get into the game now. My opinion only, or what have you. So I'm thankful for that. Absolutely. But
I mean, yeah, if you put it in that lens.
Yeah, but do I want to play Anomalies at the same time doing it? Like, they give us a little bit and then take away a little bit, and then they give us a little bit and then they take away a little bit.
I don't know. I think some people were talking about like Anomalies being Twist only, and that would have spiced up Twist, you know, because like when you're playing the same deck and you can't really change cards, that does get boring. That is why, you know, Twist isn't as popular, even though it is very cool and people do like it. I think Anomalies would have been more like if they were in Twist specifically than if they were in Standard and Wild.
Agreed.
Because like the hero power cost 1 less, Light in the Dark. That one would be insane in Twist for so many heroes, but it would also be completely useless for a lot of heroes, which is really funny.
Yeah, our main thing is we're just talking right now that this is all a ploy by Big Blizzard to get more people playing Twist, which is why exactly they put Anomalies in. So, okay, so let's unpack it. Final thoughts on Anomalies. If you could summarize it in a couple of sentences, what do you think? What do you want them to do? What are your hopes and dreams going forward?
So I think this is going to be like my opinion on Standard for a minute, because I was playing a lot of Standard this month. Well, before.
Sure.
Absolutely. Anomalies, of course. So adding Den and Baku to Standard, great idea. You know, they weren't very good. They're just kind of cool. You know, the best deck is like not that great. It's like even Warlock, and it's pretty decent, but it's not amazing. You know, people like that. You know, adding Den and Baku, good idea, right? You know, you can add more old legendaries, add old legendary sets. You could probably bring back like old Doom quests or something for like an end of expansion era, right? That would be cool. Bring back Anomalies just makes people angry. And if you okay, Anomalies might be fun for like more casual audience. That's what Hat said. It's probably like that. The more casual, not tapped in players probably like Anomalies a lot, right? But when you have all the creators who are trying to play the game and actually have to record video, stuff like that, and they're just like, oh, every single time that an anomaly pops up because they're trying to record a good game and it doesn't work, then everyone that watches them is just gonna, parrot that and be very upset about it. So, which we know is happening. It's currently happening, and it happened last time. And it's just like, why would you do it? I don't understand why they did it again. Is more my question. Like,
no, I get it. It makes perfect sense. One of the to counterpoint the argument, everybody's different. So you and I have different play styles. You and I have different play times. You and I spend, I might think that what's my favorite class might be your worst hated class or what have you. Art is subjective. One thing I never, ever, ever want to be doing is handling balance in a card game, in a video game whatsoever, but in a card game, no, thank you. Do not want it. I love that they're reaching for these other ideas so cool stuff could happen. It's just, I understand where all of the players that absolutely hate it are coming from. And, I wish there was a way that there was, something that they could do, because literally we saw the comments. Yeah. If you look at Reddit, although I don't suggest going on Reddit for this specific purpose, There's a lot more people. The vocal majority is saying, yeah, didn't want this. Why is this here? And it sets people off. And when you're sitting there and putting this through, thank goodness it's 100% this week and not 100% until the expansion, because I think that would be detrimental, and I think it would sell less bundles for that expansion because of it.
Yeah. So there's something that I think should be addressed also, is that it's okay to admit when you make a mistake as like a design team in a video game. They've already done this before when when Diablo was in Battlegrounds, right? Diablo completely centralized the game. You know, people really disliked playing against it because you had to fight Diablo over and over again. It was incredibly overpowered, stuff like that. And they just straight up axed Diablo from Battlegrounds and were like, hey, our bad, right?
Yeah.
I wish they would just do that. I wish they would just admit their mistakes sometimes. Like, and it feels weird that they don't, right? Like, I don't know.
I agree.
I personally would enjoy a lot more if the devs would just be like, hey, we experimented with this. It didn't really work out. Our bad. We won't do it again. Right? Because that way, you know, when people are angry about something, they'll apologize. They'll be like, oh, you know, thank you for that. Right? Which people don't do when things aren't addressed. When things are just left to be, people don't apologize. They don't really get better. They don't like the dev team more. And this happens across all video games, right? Is like when something is left to be bad for a long time, it just makes people angry rather than just being, you know, hey, our bad, you know?
We also don't have the numbers. Like, my idea is this. Listen, you're going to tell one person that you had a good time or 3,000 people that you absolutely had the worst time. That's across all facets, all industries. It doesn't need to be specific to a video game or what have you. If I had a bad meal at Wendy's, I'm going to tell everybody and their grandmother that I had a bad meal at Wendy's. And I might tell someone that, oh yeah, it was good 2 days ago. That's the nature of the game of complaining, I guess. I don't know. We don't have the numbers. So for all we know, this is doing amazingly well. This is something that is perfect. I don't see, and I'm just an optimist. I don't see how they would sit there if this was so detrimental. Like, look, what is the one thing we have not seen since that situation has come back? Have we seen Diablo in Battlegrounds?
No, we have not.
Okay.
Well, actually, he might have come back once or twice.
In that iteration? Maybe not in that iteration.
Not in the same way. Not in the same way. He was like heavily nerfed.
So we'll see. Like, if they're gonna come out and say something, I love the devs. I love what they're doing. I love the community manager right now. I talk about him all the time.
Yeah, that's great.
Like, if they see that this is not working, I think they would have jumped up to it. And listen, for all we know, this is going to be 12% next week for the rest expansion. Could you deal with this at 25%?
I feel like at 25%, it kind of makes the issue like a little worse, because then you're like, oh yeah, I just played 3 really good games, and then you play into fast track, and you're like, damn, dude. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
trying to look for the good part of the situation. No, you're not making it easy, Nick.
Yeah. I completely get what you mean. I get what you mean, but what's the? I remember. Never mind. I was gonna talk about like something that happened with EA like a few years ago. They released this like. Do you know what what's it called? Do you know what loser's queue is?
No, but go ahead, please unpack it for me.
So it's a phenomena that doesn't technically exist, but it's like you get in this mindset that you lose so many games that you feel like the company themselves are out to get you. And I'm not joking. Hear me out.
Okay.
So what happened was an article from EA this is like a League of Legends thing, by the way, the losers queue. So they found this article from EA where it's like, okay, we actually do this intentionally to our FIFA players, where we'll make it so that if you that you'll on average like the on average play session of like a FIFA player was like 5 games, right? So they would do is they would make the matchmaking would on average be your first 2 games are with people that are usually worse than you are rated. Then your next 3 games would be with players that are better than you, so that you're angry when you stop playing, but not like, and it makes you want to play more because you're angry at the game. I don't understand why they do it. I don't know what the purpose of it was, but for some reason that worked for EA. So that's why I'm trying to relate it back to the Anomalies. If you play those 3 really good games and then you play that one really bad game, I guess maybe it'll make you want to play more, you know?
Yes. Do I think it's the same thing?
Because you don't want to end on a loss. You don't want to end on a loss.
Okay, yeah, okay, so that makes sense. So saying it to where you don't want to end on a loss, let's go, I'm going to play until I win, that makes sense. You see that right now. Like, you'll see streamers, like, play the game and keep on going. If they're in a losing streak, they'll say, like, I'm not logging off during a loss. So maybe that makes sense. Yeah,
it's probably not real. It's for Hearthstone especially, or League of Legends, probably wasn't, because there's no proof to suggest otherwise. But the fact that EA did it just makes people so like, oh, this has to be a thing across the industry.
Before we get blacklisted, I want to say that this is not an I Hate Hearthstone podcast. We are talking about stuff on Hearthstone. We're going to get in so much trouble, man. Okay, let's try to switch it up. Let's go to voicemail. And listen, we appreciate this. When Nick and I started talking about doing this, and I'm probably going to keep on mentioning this, we thought we might get like one person calling in every once in a while here and there. We're going to get our sisters and our friends to call in or what have you. We're getting calls. We're getting notes. We're getting memos. We're getting comments. We appreciate each and every one of them. We did talk specifically, so we kind of front loaded this and say, hey, we're going to talk about Anomalies today, so we want you to let us know about Anomalies. And there's a few of those. We're going to start these off. Now, Nick, you haven't heard any of these, right?
No. Before we start, would you mind turning it up a little bit, the sound for them? Because last time I couldn't really hear the Quartzite Crusher thing. I could hear if I got close, but
No,
just
we'll put that through.
Yeah,
Tell me if you can hear it. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. First one is from Neon Knight. We're going to hear what Neon Knight has to say.
Hearthstone has gotten really, really hard to play as a free-to-play player, I think. That's what I am, and I've been just struggling to feel like I'm keeping up, being able to play just the game I enjoy, right? I feel like I've gotten less gold this expansion because of those quest changes and everything, which require more time invested in. Sometimes I just don't have that time. And not only that, but they've gone really aggressive on the monetization regardless. Like, there's a lot more cosmetics that are really expensive and everything. It really makes me feel like the game cares more about pumping out stuff for people dropping $50, $100 a week on, instead of making the game fun,
That was Neon Knight.
And the fact there's 2 battle passes, the fact that Battlegrounds mode has its own battle pass has always bothered me. And it's only gotten worse. Because, you have to buy both. If you like both modes and you want stuff in the pass, you have to buy both. I don't. I can't right now, but if I could, I would, It's just, but then there's so much time needed to be invested in the modes to get the stuff versus everything,
I think that's it.
Okay,
I think that's it. Okay. Neon Knight had a lot to unpack there. And while I do not agree with everything that he said, I'm understanding that his feelings are that's how he feels with the mode, and that's how he feels with the game or what have you. We just mentioned it before. I feel that it's easier to play as a free-to-play player and actually win games. When I first started, 2017 or something like that, I couldn't buy a win. It took a long time for me to be able to get consistent, to have decks that actually worked. It was a different game back then, absolutely. Do I feel there's a lot more monetization that way? I mean, right now, yes, absolutely. Do I feel that there's a lot more that is unnecessarily to buy? Absolutely. I mean, look at how many hero skins are out. Look at how many pieces of the Tavern Pass can be bought. I feel that there's cosmetics galore, and I'm not a fan of buying a $30 card or a $40 card or a $50 card with 5 packs. But in terms of the experience for someone who's trying to do a free-to-play style, to go through as much as they can without spending, as little money as possible. I feel for everybody that has to deal with that. Flair.
So this is a bit of a monkey's paw situation.
Okay.
Back in the day, there were 3 skins in Hearthstone. You had Illyria, you had what's his name? You had like Magni, and then you had like Sylvanas, I think. There was no skins in the game back in the day.
Right.
So cosmetics were a thing that people have asked for a long time. They've asked for, having, being able to buy hero skins, things like that. They've wanted that for a long time. And then Blizzard, they started doing it. They started sprinkling them in. You could get them like with the expansion pack or the pre-order, stuff like that, right? And then, they made a couple that you could buy with gold or stuff like that. And then they just went like overdrive over the last 2 or 3 years, where they're just like, there's new skins every single patch. And I would say that that's fine. I actually think that's fine, right? To keep printing skins. I have no issue with that. Some of them kind of suck. The new Finley is one of them. A lot of people really are upset about that one.
Finley. You're crazy.
A lot of people really don't like Finley. Yeah, people really don't like that one. But I think that skins being pumped out is completely fine. My issue with the really, a little bit predatory monetization is signature cards and diamond cards. I like buying signature cards and diamond cards because I think they look cool, right? The issue is a signature card should probably cost $10. Diamond card, $10, right? That's fine, completely fine. I would because again, Hearthstone is still on the cheaper side of card games, even though it's expensive. So $10 for a signature diamond, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. The issue is that it's not $10. It's like $40 because they put 5 golden packs and 5 regular packs in so they can have some weird justification to bump up the price. That's where people are upset about diamond and signature cards. Because with Twist, most recently, that's what they did, right? They offered like Bran, Finley as their signatures, which are cool. I like those cards. But then they gave you 5 golden wild packs and 5 wild packs. No one wants to buy wild packs. Wild packs are a waste of money. Buying old expansion packs, that's fine. But buying wild packs specifically is objectively a waste of money and gold. Objectively. Because there are there's 5,000 cards in the game, and if only, say, 300 of them are playable at any given time, if you're drawn from a pool of 5,000, it's terrible. It's just not worth it. And a lot of people are very vocal that they don't want to have to buy packs with their cards. That's like a law in some countries as well, is that you have to be able to have split up bundles to buy. And I wish that was a law in the US, genuinely. It's just, all it does is it helps the consumer a lot.
Yeah. I mean,
oh, what? Sorry?
No, I was going to say, I was going to talk about the whole, buying cards or getting them for free or what have you, because my one thought process of this is, hey, Runeterra did that, and Runeterra is now completely messed with.
Yeah, I don't think that's why Runeterra is.
Okay, whatever. It sounded good in my head or what have you. No, listen, Neon Knight, we appreciate the comments and the feedbacks. I feel that some of these pieces are absolutely right. You gotta find what works and what doesn't work for you in terms of, hey, can I put money in this, or I can't put money at this. But look, if you look right now, if you go to hsreplay.net and you look at tier 1 decks, you have 3 classes. You have 9 decks that are all tier 1, all the way up. These are not just decks that'll just go through to gold and then that's it. These are decks that you can play all the way to legend, and it's less than 1,000 dust. Paladin is amazing right now, and this did not exist when I first started playing whatsoever.
No, if you played old school wallet at one point in Hearthstone, you had to spend money if you wanted to be competitive. To play Wallet Warrior, you had to actually spend money. It was unreal.
When I first started, I was buying at least $20 in packs a week, just to be able to win a few games.
Yeah, I wish there were better bundles than buying packs. Buying packs feels bad. It feels bad to buy packs in Hearthstone. You know what I mean? they're not physical, so you don't get like it feels wrong that they're priced at physical card packs. And like I feel like I don't know. I don't ever buy packs because it just feels wrong. I'll wait for bundles to be in the shop of like cards with packs if I want packs for stuff like that. Like I know I was talking badly about that before, but that's like specifically if I want packs, right? I don't like buying packs in Hearthstone. It feels bad. It feels overcosted to buy these packs. It doesn't feel like you're getting the bang for your buck almost ever because of like buying pre-orders is one thing because those are incredibly efficient. Actually, pre-orders are incredibly efficient for how many packs you get compared to buying the packs themselves. It doesn't feel good. It feels bad. It feels like an archaic kind of system that works with physical cards that doesn't really work with virtual cards. And that's what Runeterra, tried to get around, right? You could, you got the wild cards or whatever they're called. I don't remember what they're called in Runeterra to be able to craft specifically what you want. And I wish that that's what we would have, right? Like it feels bad. I don't know. I just wish that that's like what it was. Instead of getting a legendary from a pack, I wish you got a legendary token, a common token, a rare token.
Wait till we start talking about, and we're not doing it this episode, so don't even ask. Wait till we start talking about signature pack opening.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We will we're moving ahead. We have more voicemails to get through. Let's hear from Mishka right now.
I hate the anomalies. I hope they never come back. I hope they only work for some limited formats. I don't like them in constructed. I think they go against the ranked idea on constructed. I don't want to see them. I hate them.
That sums it up pretty well.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like there's so does Mishka not want to play anymore for that week because it's in 100%? And that's something to unpack. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think that if what they were going for with Anomalies was to, cater to the casual audience more, they have to restructure the fundamental aspect of Hearthstone because no one plays casual. People play ranked. People only play ranked. There's like, when was the last time you played the actual casual game mode? Do you know?
3-4 years ago, maybe to test something.
Right,
I couldn't even remember.
Yeah, you click it by accident when you're swapping from standard to wild, something like that, right? That's the only time I've ever played casual. Like
it was just a whoopsie.
I think that for Anomalies to have been fine in the game, there needs to be a complete restructuring of the casual game mode. I don't know what they would do. Don't get me wrong. That's not simple. It's not simple at all. But in League of Legends, right, you have ranked and you have draft pick and blind pick. Draft pick is still played by a lot of people in League of Legends outside of ranked, because you have more options almost, it feels like, to play, for fun. I think casual doesn't have MMR, which, on paper sounds like what it should be, but MMR is actually important for casual game modes because if you're Joe Schmo and you're like probably only ever hitting gold in ranked, you don't want to be playing against some guy who is in Legend who's just like, doing it to, not to goof off, right? Those games aren't going to be fun for you because I don't think they are MMR based. I haven't played enough casual to know that, and I don't know if anyone would without looking it up. But I feel like that's kind of what I'm getting at, right? Like when you play normals in League of Legends, those are MMR based still, even though you're not actually benefiting from winning. You still are playing against people that are in your skill level. It's kind of what I'm trying to get at. You pick it up what I'm putting down.
I get what you mean. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Maybe like casual mode could just be, a mode where you just get to access cards, access cards you don't have. Something to drive a reason to play it, versus ranked. So say like in casual, you just get like, I don't know, the oldest expansion in standard, right? Say for standard casual, you just get to have what it would be Festival of Legends right now. You just get those cards. Like or just actually all of last year's cards just to have in casual. You only get to play them in casual. That would be a significantly better way to get players into the game, get players to play with older cards. Then, if they want to play ranked, you don't have the cards. Yeah, but then that makes you want to buy the cards. You actually have to buy and craft the cards. So I just feel like casual needs to be restructured in some way. Yeah, maybe those aren't the most elegant ideas, but if you want to have a casual focused event like Anomalies, putting it in the casual game mode is great.
No, I love it. All right, we got one more, and then we're gonna wrap it up pretty soon. My dog's about to go nuts. My dog does not like what time we film these. I swear.
No.
All right, last one. This one's anonymous, by the way.
Ooh.
I'm really not feeling the flavor of this expansion. That, at least as far as the reveals that I've seen, it looks like it's silly and fun, but it's not very grounded. It's the first Hearthstone expansion that isn't, based on a real place in World of Warcraft. And for me, a big component of Hearthstone has been it's a game inside a game. There are like little Hearthstone toys and stuff inside World of Warcraft, and I was just played off all the silly little elements as the people designing the game within the game, basing it off of real world locations, but having fun with it. This expansion is different. It's also just, I think, very weird to follow up the big 10th anniversary, Breakpoint expansion that they had, right? Which was pretty silly with an even sillier one, right? Like, that one, had the toy shop theme and everything, and it was fun. And it's like, oh, this is a card reference, and this is a reference. But the next expansion is full of those kind of things, too?
Yeah.
Like the warrior weapon, which is ridiculous. Legendary Rye Cleaver making a sandwich. I don't know what we're doing here.
They're not wrong. So
Yeah.
I love this silliness, and I've talked about it before. Give me cartoons, give me silly. This is why I'm playing. I'm playing to have fun. The bright, colorful features of the game is what draws me to it. Having a toy-themed episode or a babies-themed episode, I'm ready to rock and roll in this. But they're not wrong. We have an axe, or what is it? It's an axe. Yes, we have an axe that makes sandwiches.
Yeah. Where's the flavor in that? You're cutting the bread? Come on, dude.
I don't want to be, again, just letting everybody know that this is not a I hate Hearthstone podcast. No, we're going to say that many times. I think it's an excellent idea. It's excellently cool. But there's some people that are logging on and being like, what is this? This is not my Hearthstone. And they're going to play something that will work for them.
So I have a different issue with Rye Cleaver. I don't really care that much that it's about bread or sandwiches. Yeah, it's a little goofy. I don't like the effect itself. I don't like that effect. Where you get this unplayable spell out of your hand. It doesn't really explain what it actually does. It just says, have minions in between this to make a sandwich. That doesn't really explain what it does very well. And then the sandwich itself is I don't like it. I'm also really a big hater of big decks. I don't like them at all. I think that big decks are one of the worst way to play the game. They're incredibly polarizing on both sides of the matchup. I just don't like them at all. So that's another thing, right? It's like a twofold thing why I don't like this card. I don't like the effect because it's weird and doesn't explain itself very well. And then I don't like the effect, what it actually does, because I don't like that form of gameplay. So I'm on a completely different camp of not liking Rye Cleaver than everyone else, but
it's gonna get nerfed. This is probably one of the cards that's gonna get nerfed quicker.
I feel like it would, because I saw I even made a post about it, is that people are gonna you're gonna have Rye Cleaver on turn 7 into double safety expert, I think it's called, the 10 mana bomb legendary, and then you're gonna summon those, and then you're gonna shuffle 6 bombs in your opponent's deck, and then someone's gonna die instantly the next turn, and then Reddit's gonna have the biggest meltdown literally ever. It's going
the beached whale. Put 2 of those in there, and those, if it comes out, it's not going to trigger the battle cries. Those are 420 on the board.
Yeah,
it's going to be nerfed. One of the first cards to be nerfed. That's our predictions. And I said, we appreciate all of these voicemails that's coming in, but don't feel like you have to give us a voicemail. We'll take comments.
No. Exactly. You do have to, because it's funny. That's why.
Okay. Well, except for this one. This one's good. Bionic Door, who's a follower of ours, I believe he's a follower to both of ours. I love Anomalies. After playing with him a bunch, I do think they make each game feel different. Personally, I think something like Anomaly Week should be done each expansion. It would be so cool to other new systems added.
Okay.
Bionic Door's not wrong.
So I think that if they did how we were talking about it, where it's a day of an anomaly instead of every other game, I think that would be fine. Like I said, Anomaly Week like that, right before the expansion comes out, they do a day. They have different anomalies that actually, support different deck archetypes, right? So say like you have an anomaly that for somehow, like maybe when you cast a spell, you summon a minion of that cost, right? Something really goofy that every deck can kind of use, but some decks are obviously going to be best at, right? Or you have, the hero power one. The hero power one's really cool. Your hero power costs one less. That one's really nice. I think those would be really fun to have. But when you have like these generic anomalies that just splashably hit one or two decks way better than every other one, then it has an issue, right? And because it's random, that one best deck doesn't care because they benefit from all of them.
Yeah, I 100% agree. There's a couple of them that just shouldn't be played because, especially if we're going to do a month. If we have Anomalies Week, okay, it'll be over and done with. Take out some of them. If we go anything past a week, we're going to have decks that are specifically built for just the anomalies, and it's going to be unplayable for everybody else that doesn't want to experience that, and that is no bueno. Yeah, I think we've had a lot to say. And I think there's a lot more that we need to talk about, but we're going to do that next week because we've already went an hour. So I'm going to ask Nick to tell us where we can find him if they want to talk to him right this moment.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter X at FlairHS_. I'm on there every day. My YouTube is also over there, Flair Hearthstone. My Discord is in the videos. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's on both of them, but I literally can never remember. I'm active there very often. I'm at, sometimes I'm in some other Discord as well. If you guys want to ever talk, have your thoughts, things that I'll probably parrot on here if they're, what people really feel. And then I wonder where you can find this guy. Oh.
If you're on this channel right now, you know exactly where to find me. I do episodes every week, sometimes multiple each week. Sometimes I'm coherent. Sometimes I know exactly what I'm talking about, but it's always about Hearthstone. This week in HS is the Twitter, and this week in Hearthstone is the YouTube. And listen, if anybody wants to be able to send over their comments, concerns, their gripes, their complaints about a card, a class, a set, anything, go to speedpipe.com/HS complaints. My dog is like behind me going nuts right now. We want to hear from you anytime. And listen, as I said, this is now the 4th time. We do not have a tagline yet for the end of the show, but if we did, it would be right here. And that's it for this episode. Say goodnight, Nick.
See you, everyone.
Bye, guys.